from Ultra Love TV. Happy to be here with you, Pisces. Like Libra, we're doing an impromptu live share because you guys know that I do like a good live. We don't do nearly as many. I used to do live shares almost every day, if you can believe it, for quite a while. And then life took over and certain things went down and we do less live shares. Anyway, Pisces, let's see what we get for your September 2023 Intuitive Tarot. My intention with tarot is to offer you divine guidance and loving clarity. I've been intuitively guided since I was 19 years old, and yeah, lots of really cool reflections around ancestral generational healing, the efficacy and profundity of emotional shadow work, and a true spiritual connection and individuated sense of your own divine spiritual practice. Divine guidance and loving clarity from my Pisces. Pisces, let's see what we get. For some of you, you might be having a bit of a burdensome time around a relationship. You might be feeling a little unsupported by the counterpart, or even, okay, depending on the situation, like left behind. Somebody like the partner could be going through a huge upgrade financially or work-wise, and you're maybe feeling left out, or feeling it's not true, but like you might be like, oh, what am I gonna do, or what should I do with that, with all of this new abundance or something, or maybe you're just missing them because they're working extra lots, right? And again, you got to do what you like with the genders. One party, so there's two pentacle nobility. There's a king and a queen of pentacle, right? And depending on the gender and the situation, one of them, so the king here is having a change of fortune, an upgrade. They're in the upright. Queenie over here is like, oh, I've got a lot going on emotionally. And or the other, it's like this queen just doesn't have a lot going on right now. But because it's general, especially because it's general, do what you like with the genders, okay, you guys? But this couple, because I'm interpreting it as a pair, right? The couple, the queen and the king of pentacle, they're at a distance. So the king might have gotten a job at a distance. Or it's more emotional. It's like, so say the king's having an upgrade, it's triggering stuff in the queen, and it's making her kind of pull back and be like, oh, this upgrade for my man, my king whatevs, is really stirring the pot for me emotionally. Like maybe it's making you feel insecure. Maybe it's making you feel emotionally drained and or lacking. Like even just like, oh, like, yeah, that feeling of like, why would he pick me or she pick me? Why, I don't have this, that, or the other. It's burdensome, dude. It's burdensome. And there's something about this Two of Swords where I'm like, yo, when are you gonna cut that out? Because I kind of feel like it's one of those wallowy stews where it's hard. And I say this with as much compassion as possible because I get it too. We can end up with those patterns before we know it. We're in a bit of a vicious cycle with a victim-y vibratory. Recognize that victim comes from somewhere. Victimization is a breach on some level, and yet we still have to process, integrate, and move on, and not repeat those victim patterns, right? Yeah, you're definitely, there's definitely a turning your back on like this loving connection. And there's something about invigorating your passion to move forward. So again, one person in this situation definitely needs like a reboot. And I would dare say for this queen, that's possibly why some of those emotions are being triggered. It's not like trauma that's being triggered. It's more, you've maybe been really exhausted lately or feeling kind of down in the dumps, and then you get told something or hooked on something that then triggers all this other stuff of like, I am unworthy. I could never do it. And then hopefully you just snap out of it, right? Like, or you make a decision to snap out of it. Okay, the other angle I'm getting too is that this queen in the reverse also could have lost a King of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune downturn. And the king, the way I'm looking at it, the king is like up looking over the situation. So this could be a father figure, a patriarchal masculine figure in your life that has crossed over and left a fortune, left a small fortune. And then that would explain some of these feels around like, you know, like feeling forlorn. What are we going to do with this, that, and the other family members, brothers, sisters, what have you, coming back home, right? Returning under some difficult circumstances, right? And then this is like, yeah. So this is sort of in that direction. This could be really, you know, intense. There could be some fierce negotiations going on. It's sticky. This is a slightly uncomfortable situation. And there is some conflict. Like there's some conflict going on back and forth. Like you get this, I get that, you do that. One party in particular might not be that cooperative, and then there's this Five of Pentacles. So be mindful traversing these energies. Yeah, I'm getting an intuition again, probably just like for one person or two people even, but this is like a work situation that is beckoning the resolution, right? And yet this is not easy. This is really, really challenging. There are some upstanding characters around. There is likely this kind of fortune, this money, material resources, good luck, prosperity. That cycle is having a turnaround, right? So if there are negotiations, talkings about this is difficult. You know, these are people not seeing eye to eye, not necessarily wanting cooperation and harmony particularly. And as a result, I'm hearing wreaking havoc. As a result, wreaking havoc on the situation. I would dare say you're just going to have to muster through this situation and get to the other side. For a lot of you, you're transforming heartache. You're opening your heart. You're transforming past projections or pain of loss and exclusion. I see it in my own personal process and reality still after like almost over 10 years of like conscious shadow work. What? I'm still seeing these like martyrdom, victimhood, shadow stuffs like outworking, which when I'm observing them being outworked, I'm acutely aware of how like, wow, nobody wins with that. Like that energy that I'm processing and or seeing or the projection that triggers those shadows. Like I'm aware that in that trigger moment, everybody sucks, basically. You know, like nobody's good enough. I'm hurt, and thus everyone else is shitty and hurty and woe is me, you know? And I can sit, it's just fascinating being this human, right? Because I can sit there and watch myself cry and be like, ooh. And then once it goes, I'm like, interesting. You know? And I think the biggest shift or just the chipping away at all of this stuff and slowly but surely seeing the miracle of not having to react to our reactions, like seeing the miracle of not having to act out on an emotion or act out on a thought or and just spending a fair bit of time in reflection and or meditation where you're like, whoa, what is that? Interesting. And like just holding space for yourself. Because I often think, like, as beautiful as is this unified experience, we are all individuated. Like, I'm still my own unique essence, like floating through the cosmos, being like, whoa, right? And each of us is. And so getting overly attached to other people and or the constructs that we've created via the other people in our lives, that's why spiritual practices have us practice detachment. I know it's a bummer, but like we're all gonna leave this earthly realm at some point. You gotta leave your jewels, and I gotta leave my brand, and I gotta leave my books. And the people in our lives, you know, and it's so deep and profound and all this stuff, and yet all of us have to let go of it all. I'm hearing that Yoda quote of like, patience, learn you must. And oh, my Pisces lovers. My Pisces lovers. Y'all, I think for a lot of you too, there's a bit of an upgrade because you're starting to focus a lot on the pentacle. As in, if you were earnings around this much, it's like you're finally going, enough. I want to go to this much. And to bridge that gap, you're having to process some other woundings, right? Some feelings like you don't belong, or feelings like you've been left out in the cold and you're the only one tending to the garden. Victimhood, martyrdom consciousness is definitely being transformed, endeavoring to rise it into justice. But in the interim, or at least just in this like next phase, I would dare say part of this guidance here is to be a bit more bold, Pisces. Put yourself out there, reach out, communicate your visions, your hearts, your desires, your needs. Communicate the way in which you want to support other people or yourself. There's a lot of love, but then there's from where I'm reading that, there's a lot of detachment from that connection, possibly focusing on the lack or the sadness or the pain or the past or the emotional confusion, rather than just moving the energy forward and going, I need this, I would like you to do this, I would like to do that, and just putting it out there and then seeing what comes back. And being okay with the fact that, okay, you might not attract the partner you wanted, or you might not attract the perfect job that you wanted, but at least you're putting it out there. If you just wallow in all the shits that have gone on in the past, then that's what you're gonna stay anchored in. Now that's not true either. I kind of get miffed about some of these, like, if you don't love yourself, nobody will ever love you. I'm like, well, that's not quite it either, because it's all contained in love. And everyone's deserving of love. And we all have had situations where people show up and seemingly save us. No one's coming to save you. It's like, or believe that life is benevolent. And when times get, like, I don't know about you guys, but when times got really, 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 really tough, guess what? It was a human who miraculously entered my life and said, hey, do you want to do this? Hey, do you want to do that? And you're like, thank God. Right? Because of some of those weird, disenfranchised, inspirational, spiritual, tough love quotes, like, no one is coming to save you. It's like, we're already saved, right? I don't know. We're already saved, and we get to experience this beautiful, dynamic life, right? And I would dare say that's part of the ushering of the awakening heart. That's part of the ushering of our own evolutionary process. It's like, wow, look at what we've created. And yet some of our creations are never gonna be able to usurp our spiritual autonomy. We could give it over, be like, yeah, my phone knows more than I do, or like the TV knows more, but deep down we know that's not true. We know that we're the divine intelligence. We might as well make it come alive, right? Because it is. Unless we choose to numb out and literally indenture our attention into technological devices. I don't want to do that. Do you? I would rather play outside in the I find myself doing that, like just being outside. Like one of my besties is really into birds and bees, and I say birds and bees. They're into flora and fauna, so like they know about plant life, and they actually I have quite a few friends like that. People that are into the birds and like can tell me the different names of the birds. And I saw a really cool bird the other day. Oh my goodness, Oh, hi, Marky Mark. How are you? So, moving up the vibrational ladder, and yet I'm still sensing that feels of like um we okay, people can come along and help us up, but we still have to be the one to step out. And that's where it can get challenging. It's like, oh, but I'm kind of comfortable in my victim stories. It's that, and that's part of this experience too. We step out and then it's like, this isn't maybe exactly what I thought it was going to be, but I'm here. And so, how do we work with the here now? Right? I'm getting a message, this King of Pentacles too, for some of you, just a few of you. There could be somebody from the beyond watching over as well. King of Pentacle upright, very much in the overarching umbrella energy, looking down upon your life story. So this could be, again, a masculine elder figure, grandfather, father, uncle, what have you, older brother, yeah, that is genuinely spiritually just guiding over, watching over, very benevolent energy, very abundant, secure, loving, of course. They're in the upright. It could be connected to your finances somehow, but that's not for everybody. And okay, very clear message to step out of this stew, and or remember, going back, if this is the partnership that you're in, if your partner's really struggling with depression or indecisiveness, or just like emotional confusion, there could be something around you giving them space and or holding the space for them to step out, as in I am aware there could be some challenge here. Do you want to go talk to somebody? Do you want to go talk to a therapist? Can I take you? Just like offering a helping hand if this is someone in your life who's really struggling. But if it's you, don't worry, there's people looking over. Don't If there has been a bit of a downturn financially, just hold the fort. It's okay. It's triggering more stuff and it's positive. And then for those of you that are like, yeah, I'm the one wallowing, just know that there will be opportunities. There are opportunities around you to step out, as in doing something a bit different. This is the King of Wands energy. The Wands energy are taking action oriented, bold, right? Risk taking, a little bit impulsive, like I'm just gonna do it. Woo. So there's a little bit of that energy that's saying, if for you to get out of this cycle of like, oh no, am I right, like feeling really forlorn, but then a bit of an emotional, this is where pattern breaks like meditation are really useful, because just like we can get into habitual patterns, fellow coffee drinkers, you guys know the hardcore lava, but also addiction of coffee. So what was I saying about the daily habits? Yes, so emotions are similar. We can, well, same. Part of getting in those behavioral patterns comes from an anchor. And so we too are in mental emotional patterns. And that is what I talk about in the Fearless Life Guide. That is why we all bring about this whole idea of shadow work, because if we don't process and deal with the unconscious cellular emotions, it's really hard to change our habits. It can be really difficult to make those effective changes. So those changes for you are coming through, okay, I've been around this cycle. I know what this confusion or what this aspect of my victimhood or aspect of my unconscious wounding or etc etc, I know what this is. Like something, for example, where it's like you keep getting triggered where nobody wants to hang out, but that's not true. There are people that want to hang out, or or you're never going to make enough money, but you are making enough money and you're doing really well. So part of this loop is being able to see it enough times to go, it's not true. This emotion that I'm feeling, this story that I'm telling, that I can't seem to make my mind up over. It's like, because You can't make up your mind. You're just going to have to step into something new. As in, it's Five of Pentacle reversed, yo. You are not left out in the cold. You are not on your own. You're not, it's not injustice here. The Wheel of Fortune is changing for you, Pisces, and yet it's up to you to step out, right? And go, what else is there now? Been through it. I have wisdom, but I'm bored of this certain cycle, so I want to step into a new one. And on this occasion, for this reading in the month of September, it's you that's going to step into this new thing, right? And as you step into that, the right people, the right places, the right opportunities will show up for you. But for now, I'm really seeing the swords here. You got to cut out. Oh yeah, that feeling, justice reversed. That makes me feel, and I resonate with this wounding, where it's almost like you don't take opportunities, or you don't want to do something because you've already told yourself it's not going to work out, or a disappointment. It's almost like a preemptive disappointment, as in, yeah, that person's not gonna show up for me, so why should I show up for them? Or, yay, oh my god, I feel good, but it won't last, so I might as well not celebrate. And I gotta say, with the 6, the 7 here, I feel that for some of you, this is cyclical. This isn't like a one-time disappointment. This is disappointment from childhood stuff. This is disappointment via childhood stuff that has repeatedly come about. Love that's not worked out. Decisions that when you look back on, I think, oh my God, did I make a horrible decision? Things that didn't seem fair. And that's something as well that we can speak to, right? In these worlds of like, me, man, if you create your own reality, or like, that we think life, whatever concept, pardon me, whatever concept we've created around the idea of justice and fairness, that somehow applies to us personally. But remember, we're like, as individuated humans, we have limited perception. So what is fairness when you don't have the whole fucking picture? Exactly. It's a mind battlefield of self. Because this is probably why humans have created all these rules, right? Well, make a rule about it, and then it will be just, or then it will serve. But what we're realizing is that whomever is the one creating and laying down the rules, fundamentally, we want the rules to benefit us. If we're creating the rules, we want the rules to benefit us. Through a good, wholehearted, compassionate structure, we want the rules to benefit everybody. But over the years, I suspect some people have been a bit silly about that, and they've not had other people in mind, right? They've only wanted to protect and grow their own interests, which all of us come from different places. All to love comes from a place of heart, and heart is a unified quantum aspect of the human, right, expression. So if we're attached to the illusion, as it were, we're more than likely addicted to power. And that's kind of how I deconstruct the modern political socioeconomic issues, is that our blessed innocent humanity got so corrupted up the armhole that they then, through that corruption, got fractured and then addicted to what? Well, we all have addictions. Addictions usually come through lack, which is widespread, which is why I think we all have to have so much love and compassion for ourselves with the addictions, and keep on the path to endeavor to let them go. But I do see the letting go also as a collective release. That we as individuals, we can't take on the fucking burden of everybody, like it doesn't work. We have to liberate ourselves and continue on that trajectory of liberation from within the self, through the self, for the self, and meet in those spaces to support one another in the release of whatever else there is, right? So Bit of a ramble for my Pisces, but you guys are the frickin' best. I adore you so much. And hella Mark. Hella, my friend over there. I hope you sleep well, get some good rest. And yeah, I really appreciate all of you so much. Patreon, so this is a rare live share, but Patreons do typically get first access, ad-free content in the month of September. I think it's the 19th, but I ought to double check. I'm creating a newsletter now, but I am offering a weekly Zoom yoga sesh, a 30-minute sesh. I'm making it to be about, I think, £5 per session, but the Patreons, top tier Patreons, get to join in for free. So feel free to join the Patreon community for ad-free first access, and then otherwise, just keep swimming, Pisces. You guys are the best. I love you guys. Thanks a lot for being my internet friends, everybody. Again, I'm MJ. If you want to like, subscribe, and follow, I really appreciate it. Mark, a part of our crew or just online friendship tribe, Holla Shazam. And have a great day. Have a great month of September, and I'll see you guys real soon. Take care. Peace out, my universe.